Lesson 8. Details. It is important to pay close attention to details when reading tape passages. Details are the facts or specific information that makes up a story. They tell who, what, why, where, when, and how. Noticing details helps you understand what you are reading. Example, read the paragraph below. 3 of the details are underlined. Native Americans lived peacefully in North America for hundreds of years. They first came in contact with European settlers in the early 1600s. While the Europeans had more sophisticated weapons technology, the Native Americans used bow and arrows. This paragraph gives detail that answer these questions: who, where, when, and what. Find the detail in the paragraph that answers the question, where did they live? Put the answer in the empty box. Detail question, who is the passage about? Native Americans. Where did they live? That's right, North America. When did they first come into contact with European settlers? Early 1600s. And what did they use? Bows and arrows. The answer, North America, is in the first sentence of the paragraph. When you read, try to notice names, places, dates, and other facts. If a who, what, why, where, when, and how word is used in a tape question, underline it. Then look back at the paragraph to find the answer. Here's our test example and our tape strategy box. Our tape strategy tells us, underline the word what in the question and refer back to the paragraph to find the answer. The question reads, for what purpose did Native Americans use buffalo hair? And with that in mind, we will read our example. Native Americans of the plains got most of what they needed to survive from buffalo. Buffalo meat provided food. The hide was used to make teepees and clothing. Tools and weapons were made from bones, and rope was made from hair. For what purpose did the Native Americans use hair? That's right, it's A, to make rope. B, to make teepees, they used the hide. To make clothing, they also used the hide. And to make weapons, they used bones. So, by noticing in the paragraph, we can figure that out. Of course, on the flip side, because this is an example, it's explained for us. Options B and C are incorrect because it says buffalo hide was used to make teepees and clothing. Option D is incorrect because it says buffalo bones were used to make weapons. Now let's do the practice together. Read the passage. Answer the questions by circling the letter of the best answer. The early Native Americans of the plains traveled and hunted on foot. When these nomadic tribes moved, they used dogs to pull sleds with their belongings. Families could only own as much as their dogs could pull. In 1541, Spanish explorers introduced horses to North America. The Native Americans cherished horses. Many Native Americans called horses sky dogs in their languages. The Native Americans thought the strange animals were large dogs sent as a gift from the Great Spirit in the sky. The introduction of the horse increased the supply of food and improved mobility for the Native Americans. Hunting became more successful with horses. Using horses, hunters could keep up with moving herd of buffalo. A man with a fast horse could bring home more buffalo to feed his family. Horses could also pull heavier loads than the dogs could pull. Families could now own larger teepees and fill them with more supplies. So according to the passage, who brought the horses to North America? A, the sky dogs. B, the Great Spirit. C, the Native Americans, or D, the Spanish explorers. We can see in paragraph 2 that it says, in 1541, Spanish explorers introduced horses to America. So we know that the proper answer is D, the Spanish explorers. Number 2, what native of travel did the early Native Americans use? F, they walked. G, they rode dogs. H, they rode horses. Or J, they rode in wagons. When we look back up at the passage, the very first sentence tells us that early Native Americans of the plains traveled and hunted on foot. So we know that the correct answer is F. They walked. 3. According to the passage, why were horses cherished? A. They were beautiful creatures. B. They were brought by the Spanish. C. They improved hunting and traveling. And D. They were thought to be related to dogs. Well, when we scan the third paragraph, we can see all the positive things that horses did by increasing the supply of food and improving mobility. So we know that C, they improved hunting and traveling, is the correct answer. Number 4, according to the passage, how were horses used? F, to train dogs. G, to pull supplies. H, to guard the teepees. Or J, to carry the children. And again, if we scan that third paragraph, we see a sentence that says, horses could also pull heavier loads than the dogs could pull. So we know they were used to pull supplies. So the answer is G, to pull supplies. Lastly, number 5, which of the following probably explains why horses were called sky dogs? A, they liked to chase dogs. B, they were compared to birds in the sky. C, they were believed to have fallen from the sky. Or D, they resembled dogs and were thought to be a gift from a sky spirit. When we scan paragraph 2, we can see many Native Americans called horses sky dogs in their languages. The Native Americans thought the strange animals were large dogs sent by a great spirit in the sky. So we know the proper answer is D. They resembled dogs and were thought to be a great gift from a spirit in the sky. This concludes our lesson on details. Thank you for listening.